Happy New Comic Book Day, everybody. So, to celebrate this weekly holiday that we all cherish and love so dear, I wanted to talk about comics, but getting kid into comics and a little bit or a little bit about kid comics, touch on that a little bit. But first, story time. So, a little background. If you don't know, some of you may know I probably talked about it or alluded to it several times, but I work in education and I work at an elementary school. And I do, on occasion, I have brought in extra comics that I've had, kids comics, free comic book day comics, brought them into the classroom just for kids to read, just because I have the extra books and just want to share comics with as many people as possible, as we all do. So share with kids that I work with, So another story, one kid that I work with is Goofy Girl. She's fantastic, 5th grader. And I saw her reading this Essential Fantastic Four Volume 2, which covers, I don't know which issues, I can't remember. But so the Essential Marvel books are just black and white reprints of older Marvel books. I don't know if they still even print them or not, whatever. But they're just cool ways to catch up on comics. So anyways, so she's reading this book, and I noticed her reading it, and I asked her if she likes comics. She said, yeah. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And she told me her favorite was Spider-Man. And I said, oh, that's cool. So what I told her was I was going to find her a cool Spider-Man book and a cool bookmark, because I always have tons of bookmarks. I'm always picking them up from comic shops whenever they have just random comic book shops or free comic book day or at conventions. People are always handing out free bookmarks. So I just like having bookmarks. So I just pick up a bunch of them, especially comic book related stuff. So I told her all that. And also another story. So she renamed all the Fantastic Four characters, which is kind of funny. It was kind of cute. So Mr. Fantastic is Stretchman, Human Torch, Fireman, The Thing, Rockman, Invisible Woman, I think she renamed her Invisible, just Invisible. Silver Surfer is Shiny Man, can't remember. And I think who else is in there? That was it. But she renamed anyway, so just those 5 characters. And so yeah, I was like, oh, that's just so cool. And this kid I've known for some time, just had absolutely no idea, which is that she likes comic books. So I figured, why not? So what I did was, I'm putting together a kind of I don't know what you would call it, almost like a comic book care package kind of thing. And since I have tons of these free comic book day bags, I'm putting them all in this for her and giving it to her. So I ended up going, I probably actually mentioned this in a haul video, but I did more than get her, I was going to find her like a Spider-Man trade and a Spider-Man bookmark. I found those, but I found some other stuff too, because as I mentioned before, BAM, Books A Million, has a bunch of dollar books. So I found this Spider-Man book there and a few other goodies. So we're gonna go into that. And yeah, so before I even show these off, I just thought it was just kind of cool. And I was actually I was kind of surprised myself at how excited I was about this. I feel like I was more geeked than she'll probably even appreciate, but I know she'll like this stuff, especially coming from me. So yeah, and I show off this first book, which I'm not giving to her because I'm keeping it. But I found this at Books A Million, and I've shown this, when I showed this off, I told this little story, but this is the full story about it. But so I was digging through, and since that first book, since it was a Fantastic Four book, I figured I had definitely got to get her a Fantastic Four comic, because she liked reading that Essential book. And she did read the whole thing off, so that was cool. And so I said, all right, I have to get her a Fantastic Four comic, because that was comic book and we were reading it together. So that was a cool little bonding moment, and just cool because it's comics. So I found this first book. I was like, oh, yeah, 5 minutes at BAM for 99. It was 95 cents. They have tons of books and a lot of dollar books. So I found this Fantastic Four 54. This is from also 483, but it was from the volume 2, I believe. And it's a 100-page monster. And as I said, I found this for 95 cents. And I was thinking, oh, that's perfect, because it has Thing on the cover, and that's a lot of comic for 95 cents. And but I was thinking like, you know what? I have some other 100-page monsters, and you know what? I'm actually gonna keep this one. So I ended up finding another Fantastic Four book, which I'll show off in a second. But slight tangent. I just figured I made it like a comic collecting quest. Added this trend on to my comic collecting habits. Now I'm going to collect all the 100-page monsters. I can't remember offhand. There was probably 8 or 9, but yeah. So I'm keeping this. And now onto this stuff I got her. So what I found at one comic shop I was at, and I had a bunch of extra bookmarks. And I already have I think I have these. So I grabbed a couple extra for her. These are just two-sided. So Miles Morales on one side, and then Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur on the other side. And the other side is straight Spidey. And then Miss Marvel. So 2 cool bookmarks featuring some Spidey characters that she likes. And Miss Marvel and Moon Girl Dinosaur, Devil Dinosaur. And then this random sticker, I don't even know where this came from. It was just in some stuff that I had. So I'll give it to her. I'm sure she likes stickers. Most kids do. So, and then here's the trade I found. It is Ultimate Spider-Man. It was more based on the animated series. And Ultimate Spider-Man versus Sinister Six. I guess this is volume 3. So there's that. There's a smaller trade. Almost like a digest, I guess. Maybe. I don't know. But I found this. It was like $3. $2-3, so I don't want to get nothing too crazy expensive, but just something that Spider-Man that I knew a kid she'd be able to, and I won't have to worry about anything crazy in here. So Ultimate Spider-Man is usually good for kid stuff, especially anything based off anime series. So part of this was finding stuff that I know or that I like, that I figured she would enjoy. So a couple of these are definitely geared towards kids, which is also what I want to touch on. I feel there's just so much, there needs to be a little more balance in just comic publishing these days. I don't feel there's as much kids comics, like quality kids comics. I just think about all the comics that people my age and older, all the ones that we read as kids, and I think it was, I don't know, it just feels like there wasn't so much of a divide between mature stuff, and now it seems like just so much of it is teening up, and the kids comics are these super watered down, just like, I don't know, afternoon special type of comics, and they're just really corny. Whereas just think about all the cartoons that we grew up on, all the cool comics that were still good for kids, but adults can enjoy, like just quality content. That's what I feel we need to have more of. And comic shops, I've seen some comic shops do this, but have designated sections for kids comics, like good kids comics that, you know, kids will enjoy, especially if you have stuff cheaper. Maybe have a kids day, I don't know, where kids comics or comics that kids buy, maybe just kids comics geared towards kids, whatever, and maybe have them where they're cheaper, so kids could come in with, maybe have a couple of their own dollars, want to buy some comics, something like that. I don't know. Or maybe just have some kids events in shops. Maybe, I don't know. I know a lot of conventions, Sundays usually kids day for a lot of stuff, so a lot of events geared towards kids. Maybe, I don't know, just fun little crafting things, whatever, just stuff like that. Something for keep kids excited and into comics, and so they can get them in early and so they stick around. Because I think right now it seems, well, I'm pretty sure a lot of kids are into comics because they read comics with their parents or older siblings when they were younger, and that's probably happening now, and so they kind of stuck with it. So that's just something, just a couple ideas maybe that can kind of keep that going. So, and another thought with that is, well, I'll just kind of show off some of these books. So as I said, finding some books where, so I figured, yeah, so I'll just show off. So one thing I got was, it was Classic X-Men. What is this? This is number 6. So this is reprint. Classic X-Men was just reprints of the main X-Men, Uncanny X-Men line. And this one has, this is Art Adams cover, and I don't know who Russell is, but you got Wolverine and Sentinels, pretty sure it's Jean Grey, and Banshee. And It has, I think it's reprint of X-Men 98, which I have. Fantastic. I got that at a convention years ago at a great deal. So yeah, X-Men Classic, or Classic X-Men number 6. And then here's the Fantastic Four book I got, 358. Now this one is another triple size 30th anniversary spectacular. And I was thinking, whoa, that's a lot of comic for like $1, under $1. So she'll love that. And I ended up finding, I was thinking, you know what, I might want to keep this one too. And I was at a sale recently and found another copy of this. So now I have two, so she can definitely keep that one. So Fantastic Four book, because that was the first book that I discovered her enjoyment of comics, and we read it together. So that's just kind of a special thing I want to keep with Fantastic Four. And then Spider-Man, of course, because Spider-Man is a favorite. So another Spider-Man comic. Here is Spectacular Spider-Man 185. I have no idea what's going on with this one. I flipped through a little bit, but yeah, it's Spidey with giant frogs. You got a problem with that? It says the weirdest issue of the year. And they're not the strangest thing in this issue. Editor-in-Chief's warning. This story is funny on purpose. Beware. So that's cool. And then here is Marvel Ultimate Marvel Team Up. This is number 4, or Spider-Man and Iron Man, part 102. I don't know how this one. I don't know if it's Spider-Man, Iron Man, number 4, or Ultimate, just Ultimate Marvel Team Up, whatever. But Spider-Man, Iron Man. And then this one is actually from IDW, Marvel still, but Marvel Action Spider-Man. This one is, I think this one, it's either a 6-issue series or it's up to issue 6 now. And what I did, I found this at a shop for 50 cents. And there's 2 variants, 2 covers for number 1. And I grabbed one of each, and I figured this one, she would probably like this one more. And I kept the other cover. So yeah, those are some of the comics I picked up because, yeah, mostly for like $1. Oh, the other part I wanted to mention was about BAM, which I probably mentioned in my BAM haul video. Educators get 20% off. So when I was digging through, I was like, all right, didn't even realize this until I went to go check out. But I had bought a pop I was looking for, and bought a bunch of comics for myself, and then some of these I got that day for her as well, and that trade. And when I was going to check out, the lady was asking about, the cashier, she was asking, what'd she say? If I was part of the Millionaires Club or whatever their membership program is, Millionaires Club or something like that. And I said no. And I was like, I think she asked if I want to join. I said, no, I'm good. Then she kept we kept talking, and I was saying, and I just happened to mention, like, yeah, I'm trying to get, like, I was just trying to put them together. I'm getting some comics for a kid that I work with, and one of my students, and I want to just find some cool comics for her. And she said, oh, really? Well, great, blah, blah, blah. And so I went and saw that. She's like, oh, are you part of our educators program? I said, no, I didn't know about this. So, and she said, oh, it's just a thank you for people working in education, you know, just because it's such a underpaid, underappreciated field. And so it's just Books a Million, BAM's way of saying thank you to all the educators out there. So 20% off. So I was like, oh, that's fantastic. And then she also said we were still talking about, I was still talking about getting the comics for the student, and she had remarked how she wished she had someone who got her into comics. So that was just kind of cool. And like I said, I was just kind of excited because it was kind of fun. Get to buy, just like buying comics and reading comics, but now I get to kind of spread that joy with someone else specifically. So especially a young kid who I adore and who I've discovered, as I said, just by chance, who happens to like comics, so, and superheroes. So I want to kind of help her, I don't know, kind of foster that love and appreciation. Also because kids reading, so, and she likes to read, so most kids do. So that's cool. So I'm just happy to kind of be a part of that, and I don't know, it's just kind of absurdly joyous. So I'm also, I'm uploading this on New Comic Book Day, and I'm hoping to give it to her on New Comic Book Day, and I can tell her, hey, because Wednesdays are New Comic Book Day, so maybe she'll kind of remember that and appreciate that. So that'll be cool. Just fun, just as I say, just something cool and fun, and I hope that she appreciates it. And I just wanted to share that with all of you out there, just a little something different. And I don't know if I'll even call this a vlog or starting my Geno Talks Comics series. So just kind of discussing comics and different things like that. So just kind of want to expanding more as I try to do. So yeah, that is that. And also wanted to end with a few questions. So if there are any fellow educators out there who are watching this, subscribe to me, or just happen across this video by chance, have you brought comics into the classroom, and how have they been received? Have you worked with kids who are into comics and kind of shared that with you, and just kind of what have some of those conversations been like? And well, also for anybody else, who got you? Did anybody get you into comics? Were comics a part of just growing up for you, like with siblings or parents, and was it something that was kind of a gateway thing for you to help you read, or help kind of foster the love of reading? Because I know for me specifically, personally, comics were big for me becoming a better reader, or just more interested in reading, because you're just kind of reading random stuff, boring stuff in school, but reading cool books outside of school, especially comics. And I just remember just all the fun, even though it didn't have as much access or just money to go buy comics like I do now, but just being able to, when I could, just go pick up a new comic or two. And just as a kid, like riding my bike to the comic shop, me and my buddy, or just going by myself, whatever, all that good stuff. Or yeah, so yeah, that's that. Just a few questions on that, and just kind of share this because it's just cool. So I hope I'm pretty sure, I know she will enjoy it. But also, one more question. Have you helped anybody else get into comics? Kids, adults, whatever. Also, because I'm planning another video about, I took a buddy who's never been to a comic shop before. I took her with me to 2 comic shops. So she got to experience that, which she's wanted to see for a while. It was a sale at one shop. So that was fun. I'm gonna talk about that in another video because there's some cool stores there. So yeah, that is that, and I just kind of show off the books again that I got. So Spider-Man trade, Ultimate Spider-Man, based on the animated series, and then a couple single issues. So these were her first comics that she will own. So excited to give these to her. So yeah, that is that. And again, happy Comic Day. Let me know what you think of this video, and if you want to see more kind of discussion videos, let me know in the comments below, especially if you have specific subjects you want to see me talk about, because as I said, I do plan to do more. I am in the works of doing more discussion videos. So share all thoughts, feedback, welcome. And yeah, happy hunting, happy reading, happy collecting. This is GENOTHADRAGON saying, go buy some comics, enjoy it, read, and share your passion and love of comic books and the medium with the world. And yeah, peace out.